And next up, we have another duo of agency and client. So Julia Werner from Berlin's very own IXDS. She's service design Uberfrau, I believe, and Stephan Augustin from BMW. So all yours, guys.
Cool. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Jasmina. So we are going to present today the BMW Wallbox, the making of, and we will run through the different phases, because we are limited in time. But before we start, just some words. My name is Julia Werner. I'm working for IXDS since 6 years now as a design lead. And I was responsible for this project, this Wallbox project. And that's why I'm so super happy to present this case together with our client, Stephan Augustin from BMW.
Yeah, welcome from my side. I'm working at BMW at the Research and Development Department of Project I, the electric vehicles that are presented at the moment at the Frankfurt Auto Show. But by education, I'm an industrial designer and worked 13 years in the design department, so it's a quite affine relation that we work together. But it's very nice to show you the project because it was really a big success story in a very short time from the idea to serial production.
Yep. So everything started in June 2011 with the shortest briefing ever so far. So BMW asked us to help them to find out more about the experience of charging an e-car. So the whole world was talking about e-mobility and limit of range and that it's expensive and yeah, so on. But nobody really knows about what will change in people's everyday life. So it was on us to bring up some light, and we started doing this little drawing, which was our mascotchen during the whole time, to remind us that this wallbox element, this charging element, is as important as the car itself and the driver itself. So it's not when you're going to a gas station every now and then, everywhere you are. When you drive an e-car, this element of charging is super, super important.
Yeah, and now, the thing is, with electric mobility, customers have no experience. There's lots of fear, prejudice, what happens if it's only a short range. So we offer a lot of services around electric vehicles, so really an online diagnostic system, car sharing system, so when you want to make a longer trip, you can get a combustion engine car. You can have public charging stations where you are with a kind of roaming budgeting. And the last point is the home charging, because most customers who used electric cars in our field tests had a garage where they charged at home. But when you come to the next chart, there are a lot of concepts of nice wall boxes and charging stations. That's in the internet and some design models, but reality looks like this. This is an ugly, stupid box where you don't get any feedback, what's going on, what is it doing, and it's just ugly like the garage itself. And so we were aware of the problem that when we are selling now these high exclusive, high-tech cars, it's not possible to put such a box, to offer this box to the customers. So we contacted IXDS. We had a long relation from university in Berlin with Reto, the founder of the company, and so it was clear just to start really from the beginning with some customers solving this problem.
Yeah, so here you have an overview about the whole process, and we will walk through the different phases in this presentation. And as Stephan mentioned, it was just a short term from the very first ideas to the result. So, but everything started with a big surprise for ourselves, so we became experts ourselves. BMW made it somehow possible for us to get this super expensive prototype e-car for ourselves, and so that we can run through this experience with the whole company. And having this car was a challenge by itself, because it was during this time where a lot of cars were burning in Berlin. And so I was responsible, and where to charge, where to park it. So, but we really like this time, and we miss this car often. And the research phase started with an event, a test driver event at the mini store at Friedrichstraße, and BMW invited all the test drivers. There were 30 test drivers in Berlin to this event, to this evening. And for us, it was a great chance to do some contacts and doing interviews and ask for the motivation, because it was for the test driver not so easy to be picked as the lucky ones. They had to write a letter of motivation, and I think they had to pay something for it and so on. And during this time, the test driver had the car for around a month. So ask him then was a little bit like talking to parents of a newborn child. So everything was super new, so it was super exciting. Everything was the very first time, and they were a bit fear if they do everything right with this car. Yeah, and it was a great chance for us to meet these people.
And maybe just to mention, it was really big luck that we had the agency in Berlin and also our mini test drivers. It was just by accident that it fitted together by timing-wise, and sometimes it happens.
So we had these interviews, and beside the interviews, we set up a confessional box so that the people had the chance to give us, in a bit more quiet and private atmosphere, answers to questions. So you see on the left-hand side this booth, and we asked the people to enter and answer questions. And also there, we gained a lot of insights. We ended the evening with more than 80 snippets, and which was a good base for our research at all. So then we found our 8 drivers we wanted to work with on more for a couple of weeks, and we handed over cultural probes, which you can see over there. It was, for example, like a little keychain with a heart and so on, and a little camera, and we asked the drivers, capture some moments which you really like or which are not so good, and maybe write a diary for us and share moments with us, like planning a tour, what went well after it or not. And cultural probes are always good to make the people more sensibilized for this one topic, and it's a good base for the interview which followed. So during the participants were working on the cultural probes, we spent our time at gas stations, because we figured out this is one of the biggest difference. There's no need at all to go to a gas station when you're driving an electric car. So what are the main points, what people are doing over there? So they're doing air pressure, measuring air pressure, they tidy up the car, they're having a chat, they're buying a beer. So we had to think about which of these things we need to cover with the Wallbox later on. So, and then we went to the people back home doing the interviews, and we have some inside pictures for you. So on the left-hand side, you see a guy wearing a suit, and it was raining, and he was complaining a lot and said, I need 4 hands. I need 1 hand for the umbrella, and 1 hand to carry this heavy wire, and another hand to open the door, to plug it in, and so. And he said it was very not comfortable for him to handle this. And on the right side above, you see how much stuff you have to carry with you when you are in need of charging in public. Because this guy said these public spots were sometimes occupied by other cars, not even e-cars. So he had to come up with his own solutions and being very creative to get some power.
There's one background with this cable stuff, because the one who has the cable is responsible for it. That's why on public charging station there's no cable hanging around, because if there are any cuts inside and they're getting accidents, the runner of this Wallbox is suitable. So that's why everybody has a cable in the car, and that's inconvenient. They are heavy, that's long, and they get dirty, and so and then you have a different cable for different voltages and power. So you have the regular 220 volt cable. That's a regular thing you have in your vacuum cleaner. But then you have the 380 volt 50 ampere cable. That's really heavy duty copper cable, and this was at the beginning the big hassle.
Yeah. And here in the picture you can see what Stephan just mentioned. This lady put her cable in this plastic bag to carry it easier around. And the other one had problems to enter the garage backwards, and that's why she had to throw this cable over the car.
And scratched it.
It scratched it a lot. So you see, it was not so easy to handle this charging. So here's some more insights which I really like. For example, on the left-hand side, this guy was living in Friedrichshain and was charging in public, and he said, is a little blinking light behind the steering wheel which shows you, I'm charging. He said, oh, hello, I don't need any attraction here in Friedrichshain, so that's why he covered it with his head. And on the right side, he was also the one who just charged everywhere. Everywhere he could, he just threw out the cable out of the window, which was strictly forbidden.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he came up with this, and he had also a solution to check if the car is still charging. He just checked if the cable is still hot, and when it's hot, there was still energy going through, so he knew that it's still charging.
Yeah, just with this guy, because it was really in the user manual, or when you got a Mini, it was strictly forbidden to throw cables out of the third floor in the backyard to charge. And also the other thing was, customers were not allowed to leave Berlin for this test phase. And there was one guy, he was an army general, very accurate guy, documented everything. And he planned a trip to Dresden, just illegally. And then at the internet, he planned his trip and found restaurants and people where he could charge. And so he arranged a long trip to Dresden and back. And then for the summer holiday last year, he planned also a trip to Friedrichshafen, Bodensee. So it's really 800 kilometers one-way trip, and he succeeded. Yeah. And our learning is you cannot forbid anything to customers. They do it, and you should better observe it and learn from it and find solutions.
Yeah, true. And thanks to these pictures, we were aware of where are the pain points. Yeah. So yeah, we ended this in a research phase with hundreds of insights and started doing ideation, so a run-through now. We structured them in 8 topics: lifestyle, usability, joy of use, and so on. And then we had more than 70 of these first ideas, which you can see on the right-hand side. And with these ideas, we presented them to BMW and the whole important sectors of BMW, and we had a very, very intense workshop together. And we worked through the ideas and merged them and had a look which fit good together, and what is important for a BMW brand, which fit well there, and what's important for home charging, and so on. And after this long ideation phase, we decided or came up with top 3 ideas, which we want to show you now. So the first one is about light and charging and atmosphere, because it's also dangerous when it's dark and you have this high voltage cable and you have to find the plug.
Yeah, and garages are mostly very dark and not very good lit places.
So have a look.
This is Dan. Dan is a doctor and drives an electric vehicle. When he enters the garage in the morning, his Wallbox welcomes him. It projects a light beam to the ceiling that illuminates the garage in a bright and fresh light. The width of the light beam subtly indicates how full the battery is charged. And reassured, Dan can drive to home visits out of town. Back at the hospital, Dan is happy to have his portable flash charging cable, since it is very dark in the parking ramp and he can conveniently connect his EV to the Wallbox. After a long day at work, Dan drives back home. And when he approaches his house, the domestic Wallbox recognizes the EV from a distance. It is activated and illuminates the garage in a warm and cozy light, and the ideal parking position is indicated on the ground. Once Dan has parked in the right position and the charging process has started, the narrow light beam slowly drifts from the floor to the ceiling and displays the current battery power.
This. The second idea was an extension of the Wallbox display. Have a look. Yeah.
This is Susan. Every Saturday, Susan drives her electric vehicle to go shopping downtown. Because Alexa Mall offers an option to charge the car, she prefers to shop there. Susan connects her car with the Wallbox and receives a battery avatar in the output compartment. The battery avatar flashes and indicates that the EV and the Wallbox are connected correctly and that the loading process has started. Furthermore, it displays how full the battery currently is. The car is loading, and Susan can go shopping. Thanks to the avatar, she has full control over her car at any time. After a while, Susan feels a vibration in her purse, and she knows that her car is fully loaded. Now she strolls back to the parking area, disconnects the charging connection and drives home. She also has a personal avatar at home, which displays how fully charged the battery is.
Yeah, and the last one is about a service idea with different touch points and a first business model behind. And looks like this.
This is Lisa. Lisa has a husband, Peter, and 2 kids, and an electric vehicle. It's holiday season and the family is planning a trip to the sea. Since Lisa is aware of all the worries and hardships of EV drivers, she decided to become a member in the Project I community. In other words, she makes her Wallbox available for other community members, and in exchange, she herself can charge at EV at other Wallboxes. Whenever someone uses her Wallbox, credits are added to her account. If she charges at another Wallbox, Lisa pays with her credit points. Peter enters the destination address into the navigation system, and next to the directions, all Wallboxes along the route appear. Since the family schedules some extra time, the system suggests sightseeing tips bundled with a charging time. Shortly before the first charging stop, Lisa reserves the park and charge at my house with the Kaiser family, just in the heart of the city. And while the car is charging and the family is exploring the city, Lisa receives a message informing her that someone is using her domestic Wallbox. And 25 credit points are added to her account.
Okay, time is short, so let's come to the quick design phase at the ending. We then work together with DesignWorks. DesignWorks is a design company of BMW in California and in Germany. And here the designers also had to learn again about the product and the process. So everything has to be done again within 1 week. And then they took over the whole findings of IXDS from our workshop and started designing. The biggest problems we had was really this cable management, stumbling apart the cables, getting dirty, and so on. The ergonomics, we had a lot of ideas that cables came down from the ceilings, like at Formula 1 races, where the gas nozzle is coming down, so you can reach every side of the car, but some garages are difficult. So the ergonomic aspect was here. We had made a big design research about shapes and colors and materials, just in a short way. But then we also started making the whole mock-up, taking all the technical requirements. Normally the Wallbox is just technical boxes inside, and that's what you see in the picture before with this blue box from Siemens. That's in the front of your chest is a big thing, and in the garage the space is very valuable. You cannot put it really where you just go beside your car. So we decided to put all the electronics above the head, where it doesn't matter, and made a lot of space in front of you. And also the fact that when you access a car, when you enter it or go out, you have something with you. You have your wallet, you have your keys, you have a handbag. Where do you put it? So we decided to make a little shelf in the Wallbox so you can store your stuff while you're charging. And I have also some cleaners there. And one finding after a lot of experience was, at the end, something very simple, that we put the cable on the wall, 2 meters above, let it hang down, and then this nozzle in the middle. So it's nothing else than our regular gas stations we have now, but it takes some time to find out that this makes really sense, because the cable cannot touch the ground, it doesn't get dirty, and you don't have to carry anything, and you can have a radius of 3 meters in both ways. By being aware that charging takes some time, depending on your voltage, we made the analogy of the shape to the hourglass of the Wallbox. So this is, you have to be patient. And also, if it should indicate there's a time, a light background lit thing. And also in the Wallbox, you see that when the current is flowing, you see an animation. Also in combination, of course, that the car communicates with your smartphone and tells you about your charging status. But sometimes it's just nice if you are at home and just quick looking in the garage, is it charging? What happens? And yeah, now we are bringing it into serial production, and the thing looks like we proposed it. But one aspect was very interesting and important for me as a learning, that we don't have to include our customers, means the consumers, in the first findings, but also in big companies like BMW, the internal customers. So the design department who have to take the findings from another agency. That's not very simple sometimes. They accept it and keep on working on it, and also product management and marketing, that they were in the process from the first beginnings with the first brainstorms, and that's why this project was also their baby. So they were responsible from the beginning and had a lot of fun in the creative process. And yeah, now it's going to be sold this year with the car together. And yeah, it was a unique and the shortest project from idea to serial production I ever had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. No, it's okay. Okay, thank you, Julia and Stephan. So you guys are okay, right? I mean, coffee will still be there, so you just have to drink it quicker. Questions from the audience? Anyone? It's a little dark to see. Wow, you must really want your coffee. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry, you have one. Sorry.
So this is not a question, this is more of a comment. I really like the connected key fob that says you're charging. So it's sort of like the BMW brand in your pocket or in your fridge. I really like that idea, and collectively, if we put a lot of pressure on you, can you just do that so that we can see that idea through? Because that would be a great complement to your ecosystem. So what's going to happen with that?
Okay.
I want to...
yeah, that's the only thing that's not been realized already. But it's... No,
That's true.
there's a lot of aspects in the decision around. The charming idea with this avatar is that it's not only an app on and a surface on your mobile phone, but really a physical relation to a car, and it could be really a toy car, anything that you have with you on your office desk playing around and see how much for the charge. So this has a lot of potential. And especially with a scenario in the shopping mall is that when you have parked the car in the garage, there's no GSM connection. And so this could be really a device that's communicating with the network of the shopping mall and gives you information. But I'm trying to push this idea.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. Great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a great presentation. Thank you.